Hi guys, it's Sam for Digital Meat, and this is part 5 of our Playmaker tutorial on how to set up a player character with Mecanim in Unity. Okay, so in the last one we, I think we dealt with the crouch, sorting out our states in our animator, so when we're crouched we can't run, and we've got all that set up, so let's just have a little run around. Yep, so it all seems to be working fine. And I can't run, and then when I stand up I can go back into it. So that's fine. So this tutorial we're going to be dealing with the jump, primarily. So let's have a look. Again, I went to, actually, I think jump was part of the character pack that we downloaded in a previous tutorial. So I'm going to leave its properties as is, apart from I'm going to take off the animation compression. And we don't need a loop time, I don't think. Yeah, I think we're all good for now anyway. Okay, so first thing we're going to need to do is create a empty object. I'm just going to name this jump, and we're going to want to put it as a child of our FPS controller for now, and zero it out so it's at the middle of our FPS controller, just like all our other empty game objects. I'm going to drag this up, and we're going to create an FSM on our character. So right click, add FSM. What are we going to call this? Well, it's already called jump FSM, that'll be fine. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need to do, I'm going to make the jump button A. If we go and have a look in our project settings in the input, we can see that jump is just called jump, and the script name is the A button, so that's fine. It's already there for that. So in state 1, I'm going to call this get button A, and I'm going to add an action from the action browser, which, you guessed it, is get button. So we want get button down, so when we press that. Okay, so we could add that. And the button name is jump. And it's going to ask us if we want to send an event. I'm just going to choose, well, we've got no event yet, so we add a transition, finished, that's fine, and send an event when that's pressed, which is finished. Okay. We're also going to be, when we press the jump button, we want to send a message to the animator to say that the jump button's been pressed. So I'm going to add a parameter also, which is a boolean, just like our crouch. And I'm going to call this parameter jump ? So that's absolutely fine. So let's get back to our FSM. And what do we want to do next? We want to set the animator ball when we've pressed jump. So I'm going to create a new state, and I'm going to call it. Actually, let's just, so we can highlight the problems involved in this, let's do it in the way that you'd think you'd actually do it, and sort of go from there, I suppose. Okay, so let's call this state jump. Not typing. There we go. I'm going to call this state jump true. Okay. And in this state, we just do that. We're going to need to set the animator ball up at this parameter. So we're going to type set ball, no, and we want this set animator ball. That's what we need. And the parameter that we want to set is called jump. And we want to make the value of this true. So we don't need to save it in a variable, because when we press the A button, it passes it onto this and it sets it to true. So that's absolutely fine. So you'd be thinking now that you could add a transition and do something similar to this. So when you press the A button, it goes to jump true, and then when it gets here, it does what it does and then finishes and then comes back. So let's see how this plays out. So we're going to need to set up our jump first so we actually get an animation. So I'm going to just move this over for the time being, and I'm going to create a new state. In fact, before I do that, have we got enough room? Let's grab all of this stuff and move it over slightly. Sorry about the cramped space, guys. So we'll create a state, and I think actually we're going to do a blend tree like we no, actually, because there's only one animation, isn't there? Sorry, I'm losing it. So we're going to create an empty state. Just lob that over here. And we're going to call this state jump. Okay, so that's fine. And then in our jump, we're going to need our character animation, which is this jump here. Should be in that pack we downloaded from a previous. I just want to make sure that we've got everything we need in there. Yeah, okay, that'll do for now. So select this. We'll drag our jump in. Although there is one thing that we should consider actually before we move on. The fact that his jump, he has a good old think about it before he does it, and then when he comes back down, he waits. So when we hit the floor, we want to go back to idle really. So we probably want to shorten this. So let's have a look at this briefly. I'm just going to take this off. Just going to close the Playmaker window so I can drag this over and you can see what's going on. Let's have a look then. Brilliant. Okay, so maybe it's inside the animation clip itself. No, it isn't. Okay, so I can actually dictate where this clip begins and ends. And I can actually drag this and you can see. Okay, so is it going to let me? Yeah, here we go. So it's let me drag it. So you can see at the bottom at what stage of our animation the jump starts. So let's just play it back normally. Crouches down, then jumps. It takes quite a while. So I'm actually going to shift this up to 20 frames. So he's already in his position where he's just about to jump, and he's just done it. And for some reason he's spinning round. I wonder if I do that and then loop. No, he's still spinning, and that's probably because I've dragged this all the way back. So if I make sure that it actually loops, yeah, he does. Okay, so I'm not too worried about that for the time being. So the start of his jump's at 20. And when he goes back down, I want him to immediately bleed into his idle state. So I'm going to say the end frame is around, I don't know, 40. So he comes down there, then he goes back to his idle. Yeah, that's good. That's nice and quick. It does make me... so we'll apply that. Okay, so... Oh, sorry, I chose a different clip there. So this is his jump. Now his pose offset. Yeah, he's still looping when I do that. Alright, we'll consider that later. He doesn't need a loop time, by the way, because he's just jumping, and when it ends, he's going to bleed back to idle, so we don't really need to worry about that too much. I'm going to apply these settings. That should be okay. Okay, so when we go back to our jump state, we've got this jump behavior loaded in. I'm going to move this back now. Okay, so we need to make this a condition of transitions to and from locomotion. So first of all, we're walking along and we're moving. Let's make a transition from locomotion to jump, and we're going to need to transition even back to locomotion. Now you're probably thinking, well, after I jumped, can't you just go back to idle? Well, what if you're moving or running and then you jump, and then when you hit the floor, you don't want to bleed back to idle and then to locomotion. You want to go straight back into locomotion. So, and the same for idle. So we're going to make a transition to idle and from idle back to jump. And then we've got to decide what our conditions are. So the conditions that are going from locomotion to jump, let's get rid of this again and pull this out. Okay, so our conditions from going from locomotion to jump is obviously this variable here, jumped. Okay, so let's choose jumped, and we've got to say, yes, it's true. When that's true, you play the jump animation. Great. And to go back to locomotion, we've got to say that the jump is false. And we've also got to do the same thing for idle. So to go from idle to jump, our condition is the jump boolean has got to be true, and to go back, it's got to be false. Now we've got a problem here because to go from jump back to locomotion, the jump variable's got to be false, and the same with our jump variable here. So we actually need to be a bit more specific about what we do here. Okay, so let's deal with the locomotion first. Well, going in, not only is our jump got to be true, but I suppose we can make it so, well, we need to, really. Our walking speed is greater than 0.1. So if we're moving and jump is true, it goes to this. And to go back, same thing but in reverse. Our walking speed has got to be great. Well, actually, it's not reverse, it's the same thing. So to go back to locomotion, our walking speed has got to be greater than 0.1. Okay, so that's good. Our idle, jump is true, but our walking speed has got to be less than 0.1. And the same to come back from jump. Did that take? It's got to be less, and it's not got to be in the vertical, it's got to be walking speed, so the walking speed's got to be less to go back to idle. Okay, so now we've got these conditions set up. So I suppose we could just have a look and see how our jump works. I need the Playmaker window back. Yes. And dump that down the bottom again. Have a look at our jump. So it gets the A button down, it sets the jump to true, sends it off to the animator to set it as true. Then what? Okay, so let's test this. Walking along, press jump. Oh, actually there's one thing that I should have noted in our animator that I totally forgot about. That this has an exit time. So does this. And we want to remove it from all those transitions we made, as per usual. Okay, so let's see what happens. Walk in, jump. Now what's going on? Nothing's happened. Okay. Right then. So, let's have a look at what's gone on here. We get the button down, which is the jump button. We go to this and it sets the animator ball to true. This value here. So let's go to the animator. Rip off our game window. And see what's cracking. Then we can have a look at this ball value. I've got it on maximize on play. Excuse me. There we go. Take that off. Okay, so is the ball being set to true? No, it is not. It is not being set to true. Okay. So there's a few extra little things we've got to do here. That's definitely got the clip in it. And it's definitely... got an animation playing there. But it's just that our boolean isn't being set. So let's just check some things over. Let's have a look at our jump. Oh, yeah, that actually might help. I'm an idiot. We've got to specify the game object of the animator ball that needs to be changed. And we need to drag our character in there. Okay, so that would greatly help. Okay. Okay, so it's listening for a button. Press that and he does jump. But oh no, he hasn't transitioned back to his idle or locomotive state. And that's because we need to set that jump value. In fact, if I click the character now, you can see this jump set to true. And we need to set it back to false. So let's go into our jump FSM and have a look and see what's going on. So we've got this jump set to true. So it does that, and then it comes back in, it's waiting for the button press again, but this is still true. So what we really need to do is select this set animator ball, copy these actions, go back to where it's waiting for an button press and paste this here. So the first thing it should do when it gets back is set it to false. So we need to change this value to false for this one. So if we hit play again, you can still see that we've got a problem. You can see we're in our locomotive state. I press jump, but now he doesn't play the jump animation at all. And that's because if we look here, what happens is you press the A button, it goes to jump and sets it to true, immediately finishes and comes back and then sets it back to false, almost in the blink of an eye. So we're getting nothing. So we need to put some kind of system in there that's going to detect when he's finished doing what he's doing. Okay. So, luckily, Playmaker has an action built in to check if an object is grounded or not. To check if one collider is met with another, I suppose. So in this state, I'm going to put grounded. And I'm going to go into the action browser and what do we need? Type in grounded, I think it should be. Yeah, there you go. Controller is grounded. So I'm going to select that. The game object requires a character controller component. So in this, we're going to have to specify the game object, and that game object is this FPS controller. And we're going to add a transition, and I'm going to go to my custom events and choose yes. And basically, what this is going to say is it's going to check if the player is grounded, and if he is grounded, I'm going to send it to yes, and then yes is going to come out of here and go back into there. And is there anything else that we need to do? Yes, we need to check it on every frame. So when it goes into this state, it starts checking this every frame. Do we need to store the result? No. So I'm going to pull this out of finished, and that goes into this grounded state now. Oh, what's going on here? Come on. Okay. There's something that might be of note as well. Do you know what? I'm not going to piss around with that. I'm just going to move this here. So, okay, we press the A button. We go to jump is true. It checks if it's grounded and then goes back to this and sets the animator ball to false. So, is this going to work out for us? Let's have a look. So we've got our guy there. He's walking. It sets... Nope. It's the same old story. And it's because what's happening is we press the A button. We go to jump is true. But as soon as that has set the jump to true, it bleeds through to go to grounded. Oh, excuse me. And it checks if the player is grounded. But this happens so quick that it sets the animator ball to true and then goes straight to check he's grounded before he's had time to actually leave the floor. So when it does, but it happens so quickly, by the time it gets here, he is grounded and then goes straight back to this. So we need to put a delay in there. So we're going to make another state. Oh, better stop play. There we go. Let's make another state. And I'm going to call this wait. And in the action browser, we are going to type wait. And we want an action called wait. And this is basically going to ask us how long do we want to wait for and what you're going to do when you're finished. So I'm going to add a transition which is finished. I'm going to plug that into here and I'm going to plug this into here. So now we've got a nice circle. We've got a nice little circle cycle of events happening. Okay, so the time, how long do we want to wait? Now, well, we don't want to wait too long. We literally just need to put a little judder of a wait in there. So I'm going to say 0.25 seconds maybe. I think that should give us, you know, once it's set this animator ball to wait this long, he's going to be in the air while this is happening anyway. So we get the A button press, sets the parameter up here to true. While he's in the air, we wait for 0.25 seconds, and then it checks, then it goes to is he grounded, and then immediately goes back to the A button. So let's have a look at this cycle in action then. Okay, so he's walking along, he plays the jump animation. As soon as he hits the deck, he goes back to his state. So we can see up here exactly what's going on. Again, I'm sorry for the cramped conditions here. But he's in idle, he jumps, now this is interesting. We're idle, he's jumped, and he can't go back to idle. Why not? So let's check out our conditions. Okay, so to go from jump to idle, we're saying that, oh, okay, well that's the problem. His walking speed's got to be less than 0.0. And less, yeah, so it's less for both here. That's the mistake I made. So hopefully that should fix our issue now. Okay, so he's idle, he jumps, goes back to normal. He's running, he jumps, and goes back to running. I don't think it bleeds through to idle first, no. Which is awesome. That's exactly what we want. Okay, so that's the jump sorted out. I don't know about the animation. I think we probably want this to happen immediately. I mean, we do have some, oh, we had a little bit of a judder there. Yes, and I know why as well. If you press the right trigger, like I'm doing now, so it's in locomotion, then let go and immediately moved in from an idle state, we've got we've actually got a, oh, it's not actually doing it now, so let's do that, let go and then walk forward. Yeah, it has a little bit of a jud, and I think that's due to the I think that's probably due to a slight delay we have on it. So let's have a look at this. we got some kind of... I should imagine it'll be on our movement for our characters. Forwards and backwards, yeah, that's fine. And we've got a damp time of 0.5. That shouldn't be enough to affect it, really. 0.5, and what's the walking speed? Okay, so we do that. Set animate. Yeah, we've got a slight damp time on there, but we kind of want that. I will be doing a tutorial at the end of this set of tutorials, which is basically going to be cleanup. So we'll probably deal with that then. But for now, let's get back to our jump. So I think everything's working now as we need. Yes. Okay. And the only problem we've got now is we have an issue where we're jumping and we are crouched. Now, I could actually do what I did with the right trigger run. I could block jumping when you're crouched, but you can jump when you're crouched. But that doesn't look very natural, does it? Although I think that if I did an animation from crouching to jumping, it wouldn't look particularly good, I don't think. And let's see, we'd be getting about the same height we are from being crouched. So we could get really sort of finicky about it and say that when you crouch you can only jump a certain height. But I think that what I might do is that when you press the jump button when you're crouched, you stand up, maybe? I don't know. Let me have a think about that one. I'm gonna ponder over that, and we'll probably sort that out in cleanup as well. So I'm going to save the file here. Oh, something else that I noticed about the crouch, actually. Let's have a look. I think it might be in the... Yes, here we go. I thought this at the time, but I just wanted to make sure. We have a... if we go to the start of this, it says, am I crouched? And we've got a bool test. So it tests the boolean for whether he's crouched or not. This is the right trigger run FSM, by the way. And it basically says, if it is true that you are crouched, go to this. And if it's false, then you can get on with your life and go to the listener and you're allowed to run and all that kind of stuff. So, I was pretty certain when I did it that this is unnecessary. So I'm going to actually select this and delete the state. And then I'm going to go into this and actually say, I'm going to delete this transition as well. So if it's true, it says yes here at the moment, but we can change that to none. So basically it's saying that if it's true, so what? Don't do anything. And I'm going to change this to every frame. Because basically this every frame is doing exactly what we had. If I just go back a couple. So when it says I am crouched, I just Control Z there so I could get this back to show you. Am I crouched? We say if it's true, it goes to yes, which is this, and then it shoves it over to here, which is checking for a Boolean change. And I think, even though it hasn't got an every frame button, the reason for that is because it has to do it every frame. It has to analyse every frame to check if the bool has changed or not. So why bother sending it here when I can just delete it, get rid of this yes transition, and set this to none, and then just check every frame. It's exactly the same thing. So let's just check that that's all working. We don't actually need our animator window anymore, so I can put the game back there, and we can all see what's going on with this bad boy now. So we can just shove it in so it's a little bit nicer. Okay, so let's try this then. Let's have a look at this. So the listener's there. It's loving it. I press B. And it's am I crouched? And I'm trying to press the right trigger and it's not letting me. Press B again, straight into run. So it's just a little bit cleaner, getting rid of some unnecessary states. All right. Well, that was quite a quick one for the jump. So I'll see you in the next tutorial, guys. Don't forget to check out the webpage, digitalmeat.uk, and you can find me on Facebook under Digital Meat 3D. and that's the name. You can also find me under Twitter on as well for your updates and that. Okay, take care, guys. Bye.